Let's speak about Workhorse, baby! What is happening, investors? It is your boy Jack. I am not a financial advisor. I got the clothing line to prove that fact. And today we're speaking about the one, the only, the Workhorse. So in today's video, what I want to do in particular is speak about why I am more bullish long term on this company than I pretty much ever have been, in all honesty. But I also want to speak about what I think could genuinely happen over the next 3 to even 6 months. I have been doing a lot of reflecting on this company as of yet, especially after I did my third interview with Steve Schrader. And a lot of good information came from this interview. A lot of good information came from our Q3 report. So, I really took some time to sit back and, update my opinion on the company. So straight off the bat, more bullish long term than I have been in a while, but I think it's going to be a little bit longer than we were hoping for before we get a big catalyst. Obviously, if the USPS contract is to be announced relatively soon, that's going to happen quicker. But when it comes to Workhorse actually getting production volume up, starting to get some real deliveries out there, it's going to be a little bit longer than we expected. So that's what I want to speak about today. I also want to just clear up, okay, in regards to the Ford 2022 E-Transit, this has zero, and I mean zero, to do with the USPS contract. This couldn't have less to do with the USPS contract. I mean, this television remote right here has the exact same amount to do with the USPS contract as this 2022 E-Transit van. Now, of course, it is going to be a direct competitor to Workhorse in the future, but it has nothing to do with the USPS contract, and we should have all known from the start there's going to be a lot of competition in the last mile delivery sector at some stage. So I don't want to spend any more time on that, but it has nothing to do with the contract. Wait, I haven't done this in a while. Say it with me, it has nothing to do with the contract. So right before we get into the video, my friends, can I please ask you to hit that juicy like button? Please drop me a comment down below. Let me know how you feeling about Workhorse right now. What did you think of the interview I did with Steve Schrader? And if you are indeed new around here, what are you waiting for, my friend? Hit that juicy red subscribe button. Also, if you're interested, please hit that first link in the description. Sign up to become a Patreon, baby. Get full access to my private Discord group, access to my buy and sell alerts, loads of juicy information, loads of investors. It is an awesome community. You're playing yourself if you're not there, baby. And also, if you want some free stocks, I'm now affiliated with Webull. I didn't think I could do it because I'm in Europe, but I can. It's actually pretty sick because I use Webull for level 2 data. Obviously, I can't trade on the platform, but yeah. So if you want to get some free stocks, I believe you get 3 free stocks total if you deposit $100. That'll be the second link in the description, baby. Now, that is enough plugging. Let's get into it. So, I actually want to start it off with the price action. This line of support I had right here at 19.24. We actually closed Friday literally 2 cents off of that line of support, so that's pretty interesting. Yesterday we opened right on it and we had a nice day, a little bit of a pullback towards the end of the day, but we still had a nice green day, up about 4%. And you can see we have been trading inside of these trend lines here for a considerable period of time. Look, we really are respecting it. It literally just bounced off it. It bounces off every now and again. We're sticking within here. So in the short term, Workhorse is being good. It's respecting the trend lines. It's not shooting up or shooting down. There's a lot of very healthy price action right now, which is very exciting to me. And I'm still hoping that we can push up towards $23 relatively soon, slowly but surely, and create this as a new support. But a little bit more on all of that later. What I really want to speak about is Q3 and this and how it's affected my long-term outlook of the company. So the first thing I want to speak about is the 2021 production volume targets of 1,800 vehicles and what this really means. So like you guys, when I read this Q3 report, I had a whole lot of questions. And that's exactly why I reached out to Steve Schrader so he could answer these questions for us. And that's one of the questions I asked. Is the 1,800 vehicle target for next year based off of the pre-orders we currently have, and could it get larger? And if you watch the interview, essentially Steve said, yes, it is based off the pre-orders and it could be increased. If they are to get more orders, then maybe they will figure out a way to produce more vehicles. So this 1,800 number isn't set in stone. Right now, it is the target, okay? I'm not saying I expect it to be higher necessarily, but what I will say is a lot of people are looking at this and thinking that is nowhere near enough to, fulfill what the USPS would need fulfilled. This number here has zero to do with the USPS contract, okay? If they are to get a portion of the USPS contract, that's where Belkin and that's where Hitachi come into play. And that's where they have to learn to produce a whole lot quicker. And I am confident that they will be able to do so. As of right now, we have about a 1,700 vehicle backlog. So you can see that pretty much is going to cover the 1,800 vehicle target for next year. Now, they still have a lot to prove, okay? I'm going to be the first one to say that. And in fact, Steve Schrader, the CEO of the company, said it himself. Look at this little clip.
But, we have to execute, right? Okay. And again, I'll say it. And we shouldn't get any, credit until we actually execute. And that's what our intention is, really, to focus on 2021 of actually getting the systems all set up to produce the vehicles. And again, milestones, first 100 a month, then 200 a month. And And then, if we can meet those milestones, then I think we're fine with kind of meeting our backlog and satisfying new orders.
I'm not trying to make it look like they're doing amazing right now, because they're most certainly not, and the CFO of the company acknowledges that. They don't want credit until they execute, but I do feel like next year could be a very, very big year for this company. So obviously they fell on tough times. More than a third of their staff got the Rona, most of them related to production. The most important thing is that they haven't been having new cases, and all of those staff are getting healthier and healthier. Now look, you can say this is an excuse, etc, etc. At the end of the day, if a third of your workforce is out of work, you're not going to be anywhere near full capacity. And even the people who are in work, they're going to be worried. There's going to be a bit of a weird atmosphere. So hopefully that won't affect us in Q4. Now I want to speak about Q4 before we get more so into Q1 and Q2 of next year. They did essentially come out and they took away their 300 to 400 vehicle target by the end of the year. Largely because of the Rona, etc, etc. I completely understand it. And again, I asked Steve Schrader about this. I asked, is there some sort of a target you can give us investors to be looking towards? And he essentially said no, just expect it to be considerably lower. So regardless of what happens in Q4, I'm not going to be disappointed. I don't have very high expectations whatsoever. I think deliveries are going to be in the tens. I know that's not what a lot of people want to hear. It's not necessarily what I wanted to hear, but when you take a step back, you evaluate things, you look at it with a longer term perspective, I think it's okay. When you go into it with this kind of mindset, all that can happen is they beat your own expectations. If they come out and say, look, we've delivered 100, that's going to be absolutely awesome. I know it's nowhere near what we wanted. It is what it is, my friends. So that's what I'm saying for the rest of this year. Going into Q4 earnings, which we won't find out about for about 2.5, 3 more months, my expectations are very, very low. That does not necessarily mean I think the stock's price has to go down whatsoever. I really, really don't. I wouldn't say I'm a bear short term at all. In fact, in the short term, I'm still somewhat bullish, relatively neutral. Because a lot of good news has come out as well, We're in a better position most certainly than when we were up at the 25 to 30 previously. So I don't believe it would be outside the realms of possibility to get back up to there with the news that we have as of right now. But I don't expect it to happen in the next week or two, you know what I mean? Honestly guys, I'm going to be really happy if we can continue this trend. The slower and steadier Workhorse moves to the upside in my opinion right now, the better. Now why I am more excited than ever about this company going into next year, particularly the latter half of next year. Well, this one's massive, okay? Receiving the purchase order for 500 C1000 trucks from Pritchard, who deliver about 30,000 vehicles a year within this kind of industry. So 500 isn't the most. So when I found out it was 500, I thought to myself, they obviously like the vehicles. They ordered 5, okay, and then went ahead and got 500 more. They must like them. I wonder if there's potential for more to come down the line. And funnily enough, Ryan Pritchard, somebody who's very high up in Pritchard, emailed Steve Schrader about my video where I said that and reaffirmed what I had to say.
Here's what Ryan said about Jack's comment, I think. He said, Jack is already, I'm going to read it if that's okay.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Jack is already onto our strategy, which makes it even easier to share. First, he's spot on about our dealer group. 500 is a small number for our network, let alone the new prospects we've been acquiring. We're not wasting any time with 5 on-ground units, putting them on a roadshow starting in December to feature trucks in Los Angeles, New York, and Minneapolis. The remaining units have already been claimed by 2 blue-chip customers for an extended testing cycle. We're building a backlog of orders and we haven't begun our digital rollout yet. He says we've seen a lot of different EV commercial applications, which is why we tested the first 5 units and we placed an order for another 500. We love the product and the response has been overwhelming. Many more big things to come.
I think Pritchard is going to be an incredibly, and I mean incredibly important company to work with going forward, especially over the next 3 to 6 months. I think this could be one of our biggest catalysts in all honesty. Now on that point, Workhorse Group price target lowered to $19 from $27 at Roth Capital. Look, you guys should know how I feel about Roth Capital at this stage. I think they're very clear market manipulators. I don't really have any time for them anymore. If you watch my live stream of the Workhorse Q3 earnings, all I'm going to say is when Craig Irwin came on, it was quite a fun time. So Craig Irwin updated them all the way to 30. The next day he brought it back down. Now he's brought it back down again. So we noticed that Workhorse made slow progress during Q3 with only 7 units delivered and management slashed the company's guide for 2020. Very fair, I just covered that. The 2021 outlook for 1,800 units is also weaker, Irwin added. We didn't have a 2021 guidance yet, so it's not necessarily weaker. I know we were assuming it would have been higher, but still there is potential for it to be higher. And he points out that the 500 unit Pritchard announcement feels like a distribution agreement as paying customers have yet to be identified. What do you mean? There is literally a 500 vehicle order put in. Workhorse is going to get paid for that. Pritchard has to find the customers. It feels like a distribution agreement. Guys, that's what Pritchard does. What are you trying to say, Craig Irwin? Craig Irwin believes that blaming the battery supplier for push-out seems misguided, as challenges there were already known. It's an issue. It happened. The executives, the management wouldn't be able to come out and say these things about the battery company if it was not true, if they couldn't keep up with the demand they were asking for. It really is that simple. If they did, I'm sure the battery supplier would be all over the news saying, no, this isn't right. Look, Roth Capital has changed his mind more times over the last month on Workhorse than I've had dinners. But I did just want to point this out, particularly what he said about Pritchard got to me. It's like, the way he's wording things as of late, he either wants you to buy or to sell. There's no in between. So that's where I stand. I actually think this relationship with Pritchard is going to be incredibly important and will propel the company forward, you know, over the next 3 to 6 months. So I don't have very high hopes for this quarter at all, okay? I am hoping the first quarter of next year can be considerably better. But I do also think, guys, it depends on the situation. It depends, you know, if the Roni's in a better place. It depends if they can, you know, keep all of their staff healthy, which I imagine they will be able to do after this. But I do certainly think that they'll be able to get up to their 100 a month target for the first quarter of next year, and hopefully by their 200 a month target by the second quarter of next year. One question I asked, that is exciting, okay? We know they have a lot more cash on the balance sheet right now. I asked, is there any timeline for when we can expect the prototype for the refrigerated vehicles? And we were told potentially April of next year, guys. That's exciting. Now, so be it. It's only going to be a prototype. We're not going to be able to sell it to, you know, the big fleets yet. But potentially by the end of next year, maybe even the third quarter of next year, the refrigeration business could be real for Workhorse. And let me tell you guys, that is going to be an absolutely huge catalyst for this company. Think of the customers you can work with. Steve Schrader has already told me that so many of these retailers have expressed interest in Workhorse's vehicles. They just need the refrigeration. Think every major retailer in the US, they are speaking with Workhorse. And also think Hitachi's reaching out to them. Remember this, guys, okay? As part of an overall production assessment completed by Hitachi, they recently conducted a dealer survey. 47 dealers in several high EV adoption states responded to the Hitachi survey. A high 43% overall response rate, with 83% of that group indicating an interest in becoming a Workhorse dealer. So what's that represent? Maybe 15 to 20 people who have a high interest in becoming a Workhorse dealer? That's exciting! Very, very exciting, guys. And this is now. These dealers already have a strong interest in placing orders. 84% of the customers are already asking about purchasing EVs. This is huge, guys. This is something I'm sure that's going to develop over the next 3 to 6 months as well. So do you see why I'm more bullish than ever long term? I mean, there's so much can go right over the next 3 to 6 months. I'm of the opinion that Q4 is not going to be what we want to see. I don't think it's going to be very good. Hopefully, they beat my expectations, potentially analyst expectations, but I'm not going to have my hopes up. Steve said it himself in the interview, okay? They are now just laser focused on 2021. He also said, you know, they need to execute. The CFO himself said, you know, they shouldn't be getting any praise until they really do begin to execute. They have this backlog, they have this factory, they have the new staff. They need to execute at this stage. So I do believe that by Q1 2021, we need to see that happen. We need to see considerably more deliveries. We need to see more good updates. We need to see more big customers. We need to see Hitachi doing more. We need to see a lot, but I believe they can do it. So that is why I am now more bullish than ever on Workhorse. Now, with that being said, short term, of course, I think anything can happen. This is still what I'm watching, okay? We broke above this level of resistance / our new support. I want to say is continue inside of these trend lines. If we break out either side of them, I think we could make a nice move up towards the 23s or else back down towards sub 19s. But at the end of the day, a lot is going to happen over the next 3 to 4 months. There's going to be a lot of big upwards moves and, in my opinion, a lot of big downwards moves. I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities, you know, for you swing traders to make some money, and a lot of opportunities for long-term investors like me to pick up some really, really good deals. Now, of course, I am going to keep you guys up to date with the chart because I know a lot of people are interested in the short-term moves as well. But whenever I am speaking about this company, please do remember I am long on them. I have no intentions of taking profits if we hit 23 or even 26 or even all-time highs back up at 30. I really, really don't. But anyway, my friends, that was just a little update on the company. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, took some value, some insight. If you did, could I please ask you to hit that juicy like button, my friends? It takes like half a second and it's free. Drop me a comment. I want to know what you guys think about the company right now. And please, if you are new around here, hit that juicy red subscribe button. I remember I got those juicy links in the description for you. Become a Patreon or just sign up to Webull and get some free money. Whatever you want to do, man. You can sign up to Webull, get free money, sell the shares, and basically get free Patreon membership. But anyway, guys, if you watched this video all the way till the end, you, my friend, are a true legend. I really do appreciate you being here. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day. I will see you for another video very soon. Peace.